Of course, lots of fans inside the hutch stand as well. Telford will be kicking from our right to left, and hopefully a good atmosphere.
Well, certainly the car park was full as I came on it. It took about 15 minutes to just get from the brow of Haybridge Road to here, so that usually tells the story of what kind of crowd, and Tuesday night is always something special.
The referee is Mr. Amphlett, who has been in charge of one of the Telford games earlier on this season. We're underway. Telford kicking from our right to left. It's with Meredith with a direct ball straight away, looking for Danny Bertram. Comes out towards Matty Burke, the captain. But here's Blakeman Bow, turns well, gets an early diagonal ball in looking for Adams. Round of applause from the fans around us for a decent ball, but Vauxhall managed to clear it. Vauxhall, one of the informed teams. They've got to be careful of the Ellesmere Port side today. They're a very good team indeed, very young team, like to play football. Start of the season didn't go too well, but since then it really has been a good season for them. Here's Danny Bertram, lays it back to Gavin Cowan, back in the heart of Telford's defence, square to Meredith. Good passing move already this by Telford. Here's Meredith again, just drops it back for Cowan. Looks for options, just wants one of the forwards to come towards him. In the end he carries it himself, and then spots the late run from Lee Vaughan. Super play by Gavin Cowan. Great run by Vaughan, now chips it inside, looks for Adams next to the byline. Cut out though by James Holden, and he plays it down the line. And here's Rogers, who gets his first touch, passes it to Vaughan down the right wing. His first touch is a poor one though, and Vauxhall managed to clear it to Gavin Cowan. It's been a good start by Telford. Here's Whitehead now in that right back position, covering Vaughan. Danks controls it, finds Blakeman, hasn't got support here, Blakeman though, and turns into trouble. And it gets a foot in. And already, Steve, we've seen a good move by Telford.
I think they just look so much more natural with Lee Vaughan at right back. It's interesting defending from Vauxhall. In the end, the ball sort of deflects through to the keeper. A couple of shouts from the hutch for a penalty against Mark Danks there, but nothing given, and the keeper gets it away. But no, as I say, I think when Lee Vaughan comes in, and you've got James Meredith on the left, Gavin Cowan and Stuart Whitehead, so reliable as a defensive foursome, isn't it? And I think that gives confidence to the whole team.
They're playing with confidence at the start here, striking the ball around beautifully. The pace on the ball was just right. They look confident. Cam plays it through the channel, looking for Edwards, but good play by Jonathan Egerton. He clears the ball back into the Telford half. The pitch in beautiful condition. The ball bouncing nicely for Cam to head it back into the hands of Ryan Young, who rolls it out. Here's Cowan again. Again, he surveys the scene and goes for a long ball, looking for Danny Bertram. Edwards steps across the path of Alan Griffiths. And here's Carl Rogers now. May look to shoot, he does shoot. But it goes wide, but worth an effort from that type of distance. Saw Carl Rogers, in fact I think it was the Hayes and Yedding game where he scored before half-time, or just after half-time. The same game he went off injured with a cracking goal on the back post towards the hutch stand.
Yeah, and certainly before his injury he really did play well, didn't he? He scored a couple of goals, as you said, but more importantly he was buzzing about, just either in front of that back four or just level with the fellow central midfielder. He just puts in that energy, that bit of muscle, I guess, in the midfield that Telford lack when he's not there.
Nearly a clever flick by Danks as Danny Bertram made a good run, but here's Griffiths. Runs into trouble, tackled by Adams in midfield. Ball just bobbles away from him, Bo. And a long clearance back into the Telford half. But you get a feeling that the Telford fans can sense that it's been a good start by Telford. We've had just nearly 4 minutes in this game on BBC Radio Shropshire, your #1 station for sport, of course. And Telford just creeping forward, the ball's headed out, and they'll have another throw-in on this left-hand side. Just a couple of players to watch out for. Notably, really, Tom Field for Vauxhall Motors. Scored 2 on Saturday against Tamworth, but he's somebody Larry Chambers said they've got to keep an eye on. Very bright youngster.
Yeah, I think they'll have done more research into this team than probably I have. I have to be honest with you. And I only recognise sort of 2 or 3 names from Vauxhall. So as far as we're concerned, it's very much an unknown quantity. But as I say, I think Rob and Larry will have done their homework. And as you say, 2 goals against a decent side, then he's one to watch.
Here's Adams now, turns, looks to try and get a cross in, left-footed, decent one, checks it away, ball back in by Vaughan, and a snapshot really with his left boot, and it goes past the left-hand post this time. Couldn't get it on target, but to be honest, to get a shot in with those type of reflexes, he did well in the first place.
Well, that's 2-3 shots off target now, isn't it, for Telford? And a bright early start. What they need to do is, as we always say, especially when they're at home, I always feel is they need to score. You know, when they're on top in the game, quite often they go on to score first in the game at home, and they'll go on to win it. But if they fail to score, then Vauxhall will you know, get a bit of confidence from that and start playing the ball around themselves.
Well, they'll look to spread play towards the left-hand side through James Holden. Here comes Lee Owens, the left back for Vauxhall Motors, who play in a sky blue strip, a bit like Coventry City in a way. Telford, of course, in their white shirts, black shorts and black socks. Vaughan crunching through 2 challenges and actually gets a free kick for Telford, deep inside his own half, and he'll leave it for Ryan Young to take. Grant Holt has gone close for Shrewsbury Town, but still Shrewsbury 0, Chester 0. That's on 96 FM with Stuart Dunn and Steve Cross, your Shrewsbury Town commentary team. But it's Telford 0, Vauxhall Motors 0 with me, Nick Southall and Steve Bay, your Telford commentary team here at the New Bucks Head. Ryan Young will take this free kick, wearing a yellow jersey tonight, black shorts and yellow socks. And on this occasion, the free kick's a poor one. It goes straight out of play. And Vauxhall will have a throw-in on their left wing. And Danny Edwards still keeping his place on this left-hand side. He's got an even better chance of cementing his place in the team with Lee Moore being injured, Steve. He
certainly wants it, doesn't he? I mean, you know, he's always willing to try, and he's quite a skillful player as well. I think his final ball sometimes lets him down, but if he can work on that, he'll be a very good winger indeed.
Well, Danks chasing down, just putting pressure on Rob Marsh-Evans as he heads it back into the hands of James Coates, the Vauxhall Motors goalkeeper. Not too many Vauxhall fans here tonight, but Can heads this away into the centre circle again. Gets good distance on those headers. Danks flicks it away. Here's Edwards on Telford's left, just over the halfway line, but he's running into a bit of danger, plays it through the legs of Tom Field. But not exactly sure what Edwards was doing. And in a way, he got away with it, but it's going to be a Vauxhall throw-in just in front of the Telford dugout, which they take early. Here's Field, gives it away. Here's Rogers now. Plays it into the feet of Danks. Turns his defender well. Danny Bertram, though, couldn't get on the end of it. Here's Blakeman, back towards the edge of the area. And Vauxhall just struggling to contain Telford at the moment. Blakeman gives it away midfield, though. And a sigh of relief from the Vauxhall defence.
Well, they've certainly not seen a lot of the ball yet, have they, Vauxhall? And you know, their manager will be looking to change that as the game goes on. I mean, every time it goes through, it seems Gav Cowan or Stuart Whitehead's behind it and can just either punt it forward as Cowan does now, or you know, just look for a fellow defender or midfielder.
Well, Telford are still 4th in the Blue Square North, but quite an interesting stat to bring you in just a second. But Kerry Bertram square to Blakeman. Blakeman switches it to the right-hand side. Vaughan overlaps. Now he gets himself to the byline, gets a cross in, goes across the face of the goal. Danny Kerry Bertram made a run to the near post, and Danny Edwards is on the back post. Neither of them could get a touch onto it. It's going to be a throw-in, but what a run by Lee Vaughan. That's just what he can do. Well,
it is, and again, just shows the balance that the team play with. Almost, I guess, counterbalanced in favour of Lee Vaughan, isn't it? The amount of times he tries to get forward, and it's a decent ball across as well. And for me, that's got to go down as a chance. I know it's not the easiest of chances, but certainly came off the head or the shoulder of Danny Kerry Bertram and out for a throw-in. But again, bright play from Telford, and hopefully they can take it on and score the first goal in this game.
8.5 minutes gone. Telford 0, Vauxhall Motors 0. This is an interesting one, Steve. Telford haven't won in the league since the 20th of December. It's not really the form of a team who are going to get automatic promotion, but here's Danks, gets through a bit too easily. Danny Kerry Bertram runs off. They appeal for a foul on the D. Danny Kerry Bertram wanted that ball earlier. He didn't get it though. Griffiths finds the number 8, Matty Burke. Well, free kick, a soft one by the referee really to give. It's going to be a free kick for Vauxhall next to the halfway line, but you know, Telford really do need to start picking points up against teams, especially at home.
Well, it's probably more depressing than interesting, isn't it, that fact? Certainly if you're involved with Telford, then you want to be winning. Since the 20th of December, it's a very worrying statistic indeed, and well, it's a hoodoo that they've got for 2009, but hopefully on so far tonight, then we've seen some decent stuff, but again, it doesn't count for anything unless you put the ball in the back of the net.
I suppose we must remember they've had lots of away games recently, but they need to start picking up points to keep the pressure on Gateshead, Tamworth, Southport. Seeing the teams like Harrogate and Alfreton Town now picking up points, closing that gap. The Telford are looking ahead, but also keeping an eye on what's coming behind them at the moment in the Blue Square North. It's very tight right at the top. It's going to be a fascinating end to the season. Here's Meredith, throws the ball into Rogers, gets it under control. Just settling in nicely, Carl Rogers, straight away, coming back from injury. Whitehead even pushes forward. Telford's really putting some pressure on. Meredith looks to get on the end of a ball that goes into the penalty area. Griffiths with a bit of afters, clears the ball, and Telford will have another throw in. Meredith passed a fitness test to play for tonight's game, which is good news. Adams also picked up a knock on Saturday in the first minute really and struggled and went off after half-time, but he's okay for tonight's game. Here's Meredith now, gets a cross in, looks in for Kerry Bertram, headed away. Blakeman tries to pick it up outside the penalty area. Ball's cleared though. Whitehead has some defending to do. He's under a bit of pressure, but calmly gets it back to Ryan Young. And again, Telford haven't looked flustered at all, Steve.
That's good defending from Whitehead, isn't it? I mean, you can tell he's an experienced defender. You know, a lot of defenders would probably put a bit of snow on that one and just hit and hope, or you know, put it out of play and play the percentages. But not Stuart Whitehead. Back to the keeper, and Telford can build from there.
Young just pushes the ball forward. And again, he'll just look for a few options. Kerry Bertram, Dax are keeping a high line. It's a long ball forward. Kerry Bertram runs across towards Telford's right. Beaten in the air though by Marsh Evans, I think it was there. But just as we break away, Adams gets a high cross in. Edwards on the back post. He's beaten in the air. But the referee is given a foul, I think it is. Linesman's flag stayed down. I think he's just gesturing a bit of a push there by Edwards on the back post. Just
levering off the ball a little bit, wasn't it, on the far post. But I think that's one problem that Telford do have, is when you get the ball wide, who are you going to cross to? Because you know, Danny Kerry Bertram, not the tallest of strikers, certainly not Mark Danks, is going to win anything in the air. I know Vauxhall aren't the biggest of sides either. But the difficulty is, I think you've just got to get beyond the defence and then, you know, just cut back to maybe a foot or a diving header or something like that.
Harrogate 1 at Burscough 0. An early goal there for Harrogate. Here's Edwards, wins the header on the left wing. Infield to Blakeman, chests it down. Tackled, but Rogers picks it up. Here's Meredith, back to Rogers next to the halfway line. He's closed down by their captain, Matty Burke. And Telford give it away in midfield. Now they come forward. Here's Bird. He scored 2 goals against Tamworth on Saturday. He rides for challenge from Rogers, still going. Flicked on by his midfield partner, James Holden. Telford clear it though. Rogers gets there first in the crunching challenge in midfield. The ball comes all the way back to James Coates, who is under a bit of pressure from Danny Kerry Bertram. Gets the ball away. Here's Burke against Meredith on Telford's left-hand side. Meredith puts enough pressure on. Ryan Young takes it on the near post. And that's the closest, really. What we had, 13 minutes gone. Vauxhall Motors haven't troubled Ryan Young at all, and that's the closest they've got to even getting the ball towards Ryan Young.
Well, it's a good start from Telford, but once again, you know, you need to score when you're on top in the game. I expect Vauxhall, as soon as they get the ball, to be spraying it about, as we've seen, albeit in you know, fits and starts a little bit. But they're a mediocre side in this division, but they're in a fine run of form, you know, and that's a dangerous side to play, particularly when Telford are in such a poor run of form of late.
Vauxhall unbeaten in 7 league games. They've drawn against Southport, Tamworth. Let's hope they don't draw tonight and Telford can win this one. It's an important game for AFC Telford United right here on BBC Radio Shropshire. Telford 0, Vauxhall Motors 0. In our other featured game, it's still Shrewsbury 0, Chester 0. That's on 96 FM. James Bond back in the studio as well, waiting for your text after the game. 07786 2096. You can join in the debate after the game on your number 1 station. It's back with Coates, who just waits and now launches this forward. Looks for the runner, Burke. Meredith wins the header, good header. Here's Edwards, midway inside his own half. Passes it to the feet of Danks, who lets it run under his legs. Up against Griffiths. He's quite a big lad as well, Griffiths. I think Danks could have the beating of him later on in the game. And it's back with the number 5, Alan Griffiths again. Plays it square. Now Vauxhall go for a more direct route. This time doesn't fall to the feet of Carnoon. the centre forward. Ryan Young throws it out straight away to James Meredith, and Telford keeping up this attacking, this quick tempo.
Again, that's something they need to do. As the game goes on, you don't want to see them peter out and play long ball football, because they're not good at it, I don't think, and particularly with the personnel that they've got to choose from tonight.
Field carries the ball forward, looks to shoot, does shoot! Oh, he takes a deflection, I think Stuart Whitehead got a foot in, and it just goes over the bar, and it's going to be a corner for Vauxhall Motors, and Whitehead is absolutely livid with his midfield, just not working hard enough to track back, and just a bit too easy, really. Completely
just opened up, no one tracking back, as you say, really. Carl Rogers anywhere near it, but even he was about 5-6 yards away from play, and just well, it just shows how vulnerable Telford look at the moment.
And it comes, header is blocked by Cowan, and now Vauxhall will have another corner, another chance for James Holden to take this one. We've just seen a few times Telford just falling asleep in midfield and just putting the pressure on Telford's defence during the season, Steve. They just need to make sure they don't get carried away about committing everybody forward.
Yeah, I think it's only really been in the early games, and then just recently, hasn't it? It's not something you want to see. That's better from Danny Kerry-Bertram there, but again, Vauxhall get the ball back.
Well, ball's back into the heart of the penalty area. Cowan heads it away. Here's Griffiths. Square. Field. Shapes to shoot again. Turns John Adams. Gets it through. Cleared by Cowan. Looks a tricky customer, Tom Field. Just playing in the heart of the midfield. And a man who likes to get himself forward. He's back with Coates, though, the Vauxhall keeper. He gets a long ball away. Vaughan wins the header inside his own half. Danks comes back from an offside position. Lets it go through. And here's Coates again. This time with a higher ball. Whitehead's underneath it. Cushions it away. Looks for Danks again. Cowan gets more distance on the ball, looking for Danks. A superb central defensive combination, aren't they? Whitehead and Cowan at this level.
They are, but if they're left exposed, then like any defence, they can be undone, and that's exactly what Whitehead had to go at his midfielders for then. Completely exposed, let the man just run onto the ball, and in the end, just a deflection from Whitehead took it over the top, because it was a decent strike.
Telford lost their last game, of course. You would have heard it here on BBC Radio Shropshire. 1-0 at Workington at Borough Park. Arneson with the goal there. Very disappointing day. A long trip as well to Cumbria. Telford will be hoping to turn that around tonight against another team who are struggling towards the bottom of the Blue Square North, but as we've mentioned a couple of times, their form recently has been very good indeed. Long ball by Rogers. Comes to no avail over everybody's heads, and again Coates picks it up on the edge of the penalty area, and he'll again launch this forward. Whitehead's underneath it, heads it away, wins the header again in the centre of defence. Edwards doesn't get there, and fans weren't too happy, just a bit frustrated. Edwards tries to keep it in and works a bit harder there. It's going to be a throw in. The number 7 James Holden just getting his other midfielders just up for the battle. And we've seen a good game of football, completely the opposite to what we saw against a very dogged Workington team on Saturday. You weren't there, Steve, but I'm sure you can picture the scene.
I'm sure I can. A very similar game, probably, no doubt, to the to the game a season earlier, in which obviously Telford won through a John Adams goal late on in that game, but were undone by a fairly late goal on Saturday. But no, I think Telford played well so far tonight. This is an important spell for me. We've had probably 18.5 minutes on my watch now, and Telford have been on top. But really, they need to either test the keeper or at best score a goal and take it to Vauxhall, because the longer the game remains at 0-0, the more confidence that Vauxhall will get from that.
It's the Blue Square North League live on BBC Radio Shropshire. Telford searching for a victory. Danks goes to the ground. Referee says it's a throw-in. Danks wanted a free kick level with the penalty area, but it's going to be a throw-in for Vauxhall Motors. Danks has had a decent start to his game, working hard up front. As mentioned a couple of times, looks as if he'll probably have the beating of Griffiths, who's quite a big lad really at the back for Vauxhall. This time Telford do have a free kick given for a slight push on Rogers, who takes it early. Now it's with Lee Vaughan, just next to the centre circle, into Blakeman. Blakeman didn't really look up there and hit it first time, hit and hope, and gives it away. Now Vauxhall come forward on their left-hand side. Vaughan wins the header. And instead of going back to Ryan Young, Stuart Whitehead has to slide in to stop it from going behind for a corner. And it's going to be a throw-in for Vauxhall on their left wing. And another opportunity. You just get a sense that Vauxhall are starting to settle themselves into this game.
Well, again, probably gifted to them as well. I mean, Telford have a free kick. They take it almost too early. You know, they take it when no one's really ready for it. It comes from midfield. He's not really ready for it. Has to turn on it and just hit it first time. And in the end, you know, a bit of pressure and, as you say, out for a throw-in and Vauxhall have the ball. But really just a little bit more thinking from Telford there, and you know, they could have been in a good position on the field.
Southport are playing Hinckley United tonight in the Blue Square North as well. Still Harrogate 1, Burscough 0. A few interesting games then going on in the Blue Square North. Tamworth or Gateshead, neither of those teams are playing tonight. Liam Watson, the manager of Southport, has been linked with Rushton and Diamonds. Julian Dix as well wants the job. I think Liam Watson's quite happy where he is at Southport, but it'll be interesting to follow. A few rumours, as always, go around when a vacant manager's job comes up. But Telford can't clear that one properly, and it's going to be a Vauxhall throw-in just in front of their dugout, taken early. And here's Holden, just to curl it down the line. Vaughan gets his head onto it, but it just skims his head, and he goes behind for a corner, and Telford will have to get shirts back again. It's just these quiet spells in the game which make you worry.
Well, and again, it's all their own fault really, because had that ball not been given away, then we wouldn't be seeing this, you know, or certainly wouldn't be seeing this at this instance in the game. But no, it's important they defend that.
In comes the corner. It's a poor one. Danks clears it at the near post, but played back out by Egerton. Another chance to get a cross in, headed away this time by Vaughan, but it goes high in the air. Edwards can't knock it on. Crunching challenge by Blakeman. Very well played. And the danger's cleared. Back to the halfway line. Here's Griffiths again. Looks for a long ball. Cowan heads it away. Danny Bertram stayed wide on his left-hand side, and he'll just drop it back to Meredith. Infield to Rogers now. And plays it to the feet of Adams. Adams is tackled, but Meredith picks it up. Not the best of challenges really from Egerton, going through the back of Adams. Referee will have a quick word with him. Adams, I'm sure, will have a quick word as he just trudges past as well. And it's going to be a free kick for Telford.
Yeah, I think just a quiet word. Just nothing more than that. But certainly if he does it again, then he'll be at risk of a booking, I think is what the referee is saying. But, you know, this is better thinking from Telford now. Gavin Cowan to take this one. Similar position from the one that Carl Rogers took, but of course Telford in the right positions to be able to take it.
Cam wanted to take that short, but Meredith and Whitehead weren't alert, and now he's going to have to take it normally. It's a diagonal ball towards Telford's right. Headers won by Rogers into the heart of the penalty area. Picked up by Coates though, and the move comes to an end, but a decent ball. Utilising somebody like Rogers, who's good in the air, to get the ball back across the goal. It's Plymouth 0, Crystal Palace 1 in the Championship. Few games taking place tonight. Linesman's flag goes up here against Noon. It's going to be a free kick for Telford. Still Telford 0, Vauxhall Motors 0. 23 minutes gone in this game at the Newburgh set here on BBC Radio Shropshire. Still 0-0 as well in our other featured game between Shrewsbury and Chester City, the local derby. That's on 96 FM with Stuart Dunn and Steve Cross. Free kick here for Telford. Ryan Young will look to take it, and the ball goes high in the air through the floodlights. It's Watford 1, Swansea 0. Back to Whitehead, square to Vaughan. And Vaughan, with his first touch, finds Adams. Lays it back to Vaughan in front of the Telford dugout. Plays it back down the line, but didn't find Mark Danks. Back to Whitehead in Telford's defence. To Vaughan. Vaughan, first touch back infield. Good first touch by Vaughan to pick out Gavin Cowan to keep the pace, keep the momentum going forward. Here's Danny Bertram, who goes on a bit of a run here. Drags the ball back. Here's Adams. Now Adams plays it square to Vaughan, who falls over at the same time there, Adams, and Vaughan gives it away. The clearance is blocked by Mark Danks, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. A good crowd in here tonight, Steve. It's a good atmosphere. And we mentioned before the game, didn't we? Actually, maybe because Vauxhall like to play the ball around, that could work in Telford's favour.
Yeah, I think it did for the first 15 minutes, but it's all petered out a little bit, hasn't it, for Telford? They can't seem to put a couple more passes together as they did early on in the game. And as I keep saying, I just think that if Telford don't get the early goal, then they struggle at home, and hopefully we're not going to see that tonight. But it has got into that little bit of a sticky spell where Vauxhall have got back into the game and Telford can't really find their pattern of play.
We've had 2 chances, one for either team. Here's Vaughan though, next to the corner flag, goes to ground. Linesman says it's a free kick. Difficult to say from this angle. Looked like he may just have had his ankle clipped and he went over. But a free kick in a fairly dangerous position. A chance here, Steve, for Cowan and Whitehead to come forward and for Telford to get some aerial presence in there.
Well, it'd be nice to test James Coates for the first time this evening, wouldn't it? Danny Edwards is going to take it, just whip it in left foot. Just a bit of pace on it, you know, you can put all sorts of doubt in the defence mind, and I'm sure that's what Danny Edwards is going to look to do.
In comes the free kick, it curls in, headed away at the near post. Not enough pace on it for me. The clearance is scuppered. Adams steps across though, good defending by the captain Matty Burke, and now plays in Carl Noon. It's 2 against 3. Noon turns for... oh, what a goal! He turned James Meredith and he puts it into the top left-hand corner, and Vauxhall Motors have taken the lead. And it was all started off by Matty Burke keeping the ball in. Then he played a superb ball to find Carl Noon, and he finished it off, and a bit too easily. It's Telford 0, Vauxhall Motors 1.
I have to say that is a terrific counter-attacking goal. I mean, if you know, you wanted to put it in the book of football, that's exactly what you do, counter-attacking. You know, win the ball in midfield, a quick pass, and what a superb finish as well. And as I say, Telford's good work early on has really come to nothing, and Vauxhall Motors just showing that all you have to do is put a good spell of passing together and put the ball in the back of the net, and your team's 1-0 up.
It was a great counter-attack and a super finish from Carl Noon. But Telford again have found themselves behind, and they've got to come from behind to try and first of all level things up and then go on and win this game. They've got all the work to do here on BBC Radio Shropshire. Telford 0, Vauxhall Motors 1. We've had nearly 27 minutes gone in this first half. Telford look to come straight back. Coates comes out of his box and clears it. Burke though miscontrols this one, and Rogers finds Adams. Back to Gavin Cowan. Meredith just comes level with Cowan, but Cowan decides to go through the channel. Griffiths gets there a bit too easily ahead of Dax, and it's back into a Telford half. James Meredith was the man. He turned, Steve. Was he to blame?
Well, he was out of position, but it wasn't his position to be in, was it? I mean, it was right in the middle of the park. If anyone's to blame, I guess John Adams for not putting the ball out of play and just playing safe. But give credit to Vauxhall. I think a superb pass to pick him out, and a fine finish from him as well.
Here's Meredith, tackled, and it's going to be a Telford throw in. Still Shrewsbury 0, Chester City 0 in that local derby on 96 FM with Stuart Dunn and Steve Cross. Meredith takes his throw in to the feet of Adams, controls it well, and still going Adams, tackled in the end. He had 3 sky blue shirts around him. Burke plays it for Adams' legs but gives it away. Adams though was pushed off the ball, and here's Burke square to Bird, who comes through into the Telford half. He's got lots of room in front of him. Liam Blakeman steps across. Bird though takes his time, puts his foot onto the ball and plays it square. It's down the line. Vauxhall look to build up play on their left-hand side, up against Vaughan. Maybe another shooting opportunity here. Shot comes in. Oh, it just goes wide. And, well, this time Lee Vaughan was probably to blame. Didn't get the tackle in early enough. And the shot, I think, in the end, may have been Jonathan Egerton who got the shot in. But it goes past Ryan Young's right-hand post. And another opportunity for Vauxhall.
Well, it's, you know, that's 2 in a couple of minutes now for Vauxhall. Certainly the goal's given them confidence. I just think at the moment Telford are trying to play not to the whistle, and it's, you know, you cannot do that. If you're against the side, then you can't be looking for the knocks and, you know, saying referee it was a push or anything like that. I think they've done it a couple of times now, Telford, and getting a little bit frustrated. For me, they've just got to go back to square one, back to how they started this game, and start playing the ball about a little bit, because that's what they're good at.
It's funny saying this, but it's not an easy place to go a goal behind, is it, at home in front of a large crowd on a Tuesday night? Because, you know, there are a few nerves there at non-league level, playing in front of this big crowd. Well,
particularly in the form that Telford haven't been in, you know, in terms of home football, certainly. We mentioned 20th of December. It's a horrible stat to have. They haven't won at home in 2009 in the league. So, you know, they're looking to change that. But at the moment, well, it's poor play from Carl Rogers, and Vauxhall coming straight back at Telford now.
Here's Burke. Rogers gave it away initially. Oh, well, Vauxhall give it away. Now here's Edwards on the counter-attack. He's sprinting forward. It's 3 on 3. Edwards has got Danks to his left-hand side. Danks near post. Gets the ball across. Cleared off the line. And it goes behind for a corner. Danks in the end went for the shot. And the defender was equal to the task, I think. In the end, it was Alan Griffiths there. And it goes behind and very nearly an equaliser for the Bucks.
Well, it's great play from Danny Edwards, just picking the ball up in midfield, and just you know, a little bit more incisive than Telford. That's what we saw early on in the game, but they started to go a little bit quiet, and then of course Vauxhall get the goal. Well, now Danny Edwards is to take the corner. Please don't bend it out of play for a goal kick, because this is where Telford, you know, need the possession.
Edwards waits and takes it. It's towards the back post. Headed in by Cowan. Saved by Coates. And it must have taken a deflection off a Telford player in the end. May even have hit the post. Lots of players obstructing our view. But Cowan very nearly scoring a goal. He scored a few goals in front of a Hutch this season from set pieces. And he went close just.
Well, he did. In the end, you know, it just goes wide, but it went wide a couple of minutes earlier as well, and then to win the corner from, of course, a block on the line. But
here's Danks up against Griffiths, pushed away, and a few fans are appealing for a foul, but it was great defending.
Great defending, got his body in the way. That's the problem with Mark Danks. He's very, very lightweight, and I think at the moment he's being bullied a little bit out of it by Alan Griffiths. Nothing, you know, nothing untoward from Griffiths. Just very strong defending. It's what his manager will want to see from him.
It's going to be a throw-in for Vauxhall. So it's been a very entertaining half this first half here at the New Bucks Head. But Telford 0, Vauxhall Motors 1. That's the important thing really, and Telford is still trailing. Here's Adams, turns the ball again and finds Edwards on this left-hand side. Very good close ball technique and control from Adams. Here's Edwards again, gets past Egerton. He's got Griffiths in front of him, gets a low ball in through the heart of the penalty area, and no Telford player there. Danny Bertram, well, not exactly sure what his positioning was. He spotted that Edwards was through, and he was way behind the play.
Wasn't the best of the ball, I have to say. I thought, you know, get it in there, just fizz it in, but he did neither. He sort of, I don't know, looked to the far post, but in the end it's gone out for a Vauxhall Motors throw in just in front of the corner flag, and well, the crowd a little bit frustrated that they're not taking it straight away, but Telford have got the bit between their teeth at the moment, and long may it continue, but they need a goal.
Oh, Cowan very lucky at the back. He nearly gave it away to Noon. Somehow poked it back to Ryan Young. He got the ball trapped, got his studs trapped in the ground by the looks of it. Telford 0, Vauxhall 1 here on BBC Radio Shropshire with me, Nick Southland, Steve Bowyer, your AFC Telford United commentary team on extra time. Rogers with a very powerful pass to Lee Vaughan. Too much on it really. Vaughan couldn't control it, and Matty Lewis chucks it back into play. It's going to be a throw-in for Vauxhall Motors. Just to remind you of who's on the bench for Telford: Terry Ferns, Phil Traynor, Jimmy Turner, Mika Nuadiki and Indy Keeler. So they haven't got too many attacking options really, only Phil Traynor and Terry Ferns. It's Watford 2, Swansea 0. Tommy Smith has scored for Watford, and throw-in's taken. And here's Bird again, threads it through. Noon goes to ground. Referee crosses his arms. To be fair, Vauxhall didn't really make a meal of that one. Noon weren't really looking for a penalty. Now Ryan Young kicks this forward. Danny Bertram tries to head it on. Miss clearance though from Rob Marsh-Evans, and eventually turns and boots it onto the top of the Telford dugout, and the Bucks will have a throw-in. They look very good going forward. We've heard a lot about this Tom Bird before the game, and just seen a couple of times, Steve, he's had, actually to be fair, he's had lots of room to run onto a Telford defence.
Yeah, I think just coming straight through the midfield, and it's a little bit concerning that no one's picking the Vauxhall Motors players up, but it's, you know, it's certainly pleasing on the eye, apart from if you're involved with Telford, and that's of course the position we're in, and that's what Telford needs, you know, someone to run off the ball, and at the moment there's not enough sort of movement off the ball, and when they do get the ball they're just mustered out a little bit, and they need to get that goal sooner rather than later, otherwise the hoodoo could continue.
Telford fans would love a goal from Danny Bertram, who's got 14 so far this season. Horn does well. It's going to be a corner for Telford on their right-hand side. Brown's got 15. Hopefully he'll be back soon. He's got to have an injection this week. He's got a heel and Achilles problem. And Terry Ferns has got 16 goals, but not preferred to start this game. He's on the bench, but Telford have a corner here. Edwards will take it. This time he'll curl it in left-footed. And in it comes towards that near post. Keeper punches it away. Shot from Danks! And he scores his first goal for AFC Telford United. It fell nicely for him, but he finished it off superbly. And Telford have got an equaliser. It's Telford 1, Vauxhall Motors 1.
Well, I spent enough time in hospital this week, I tell you, that's exactly what the doctor did order. I mean, it just needed it from Telford, as far as they're concerned. They needed to get back into the game, and Danks just on the far post, and a right-footed effort, decent finish as well, and hopefully Telford can take something from it.
Well, coach didn't look comfortable at all, did he, at his near post? They haven't tested him enough.
I don't think he has done, though. Every time, I say every time, it's probably 2 or 3 times the ball's gone in, and coach has been all over the place. It's exactly what Telford need. You know, we saw earlier where Gavin Cowan had a header just wide. Coates was nowhere near that from a set piece again.
Well, Danks did the job he's been brought here to do, to score goals. He was there where it mattered, and he finished it off very nicely indeed. And he's got the equaliser for Telford, much to everybody's relief. And now Vauxhall look to try and come straight back at Telford. It's been a good game so far. Here's Bird, square towards Noon, looks to shoot, and it goes wide. And he appeals, but he took a deflection. The referee, Mr. Amphlett, says it didn't, and it's going to be a goal kick for Telford. BBC Radio Shropshire, your #1 station for sports on DAB, digital radio, or online at bbc.co.uk/Shropshire. Me, Nick Saffel and Steve Bowyer. And, well, it's good to see Danks getting his first goal for Telford.
Well, it is, but straight away Vauxhall come forward, and again they're just given so much time on the ball, particularly just through the centre. Whitehead's had to make probably a 15-20 yard dash to get anywhere near it, and in the end it's just gone wide. But it's very much end-to-end stuff. You know, it's pleasing on the eye, but not from the manager's points of view.
2 great challenges by Whitehead. Now Blakeman inside the centre circle, looks for Danks. Blakeman gives it away as Edwards was waiting for a ball out wide for Telford. Here's Burke, drags the ball back past Meredith, and now here's Egerton with a high ball back into the Telford half, headed clear by Cowan. Blakeman gets a tackle in, but Egerton got more on the ball. Here's Noon again, goes across field, the goal scorer for Vauxhall. His pass is a poor one, and Vaughan controls it, and clears it early. So he looks for Danny Bertram, but Coates clears this one high again in the air. Whitehead's underneath it, heads it away. It's Sheffield Wednesday 0, Barnsley 1. Campbell White scored there. Back with Cowan, square to Meredith as the Bucks again look to build up play on their left-hand side. Edwards runs into a bit of space. Coates comes out of his penalty area. Edwards' run was blocked slightly by Jordan Holmes, and the keeper did the rest to clear the ball. And Telford have another throw in. And both teams still continuing to push forward. It's quite refreshing actually to see a team like Vauxhall. Here's Danks, looks to shoot. Coates on his near post. His positioning wasn't too good at first. Danks nearly creeping that in, but it's quite refreshing to see somebody like Vauxhall coming here and actually taking the game to Telford.
Well, they've got nothing to lose. I think the form they've been in, they know they're probably not going to get relegated, certainly with all the money problems elsewhere in the division, and they're probably not going to go too far wrong in the middle of the table. Who knows? They could do the Barrow, if you like, and sneak into the playoffs and go on from there. They certainly look strong going forward. I do question the defence, whether it's up to it, but Telford simply haven't tested it enough for me tonight.
I'll say refreshing because it allows Telford to have space, to have a chance to attack against Vauxhall instead of playing against 10 men sitting behind the ball.
Yeah, I think that Telford a little bit cavalier at times tonight. You know, they're just throwing everyone forward. Vauxhall Motors are coming forward as soon as Telford lose the ball, and they're finding so much space to run into. As I say, it's a good game to watch, but I don't think Rob and Larry will be too happy with the way the midfield's sort of shaping up. 39
minutes gone. False error of Steve Bowyer. It's going to be another throw in, this time for Vauxhall Motors on their right-hand side. It's going to be the defender, Jonathan Egerton, but right back to take it. Burke runs through the halfway line. And it's back towards Jordan Holmes. Here's Cowan, gets there ahead of Noon. And Bird this time didn't control it. Danks runs straight into the left back Lee Owens. And the referee's going to give a free kick this time. I think Danks was involved there for an initial challenge. It's just a little tug on Lee Owens. And a free kick for Vauxhall Motors as the free kick's taken early. And it's a poor one, really. They're putting pressure on themselves. Blakeman trying to close it down. Here come Vauxhall again on their left-hand side. Danks is working hard to help out the midfield. Here's Holmes from the left-hand side. Noon gets a low ball in. It's not cleared properly, and it's back out. Another chance to get the ball in. Whipped in. Whitehead heads it away. Now Edwards finds a bit of room as the ball drops nicely for him. He's got Blakeman out wide, right. Danny Bertram in the centre. Burke, though, pushes him off the ball and muscles him out of it. Here's Noon to Egerton, whose second touch goes away from him and gives it away to Whitehead. Here's Adams on Telford's right, drops it back to Lee Vaughan. Now Vaughan carries it into the channel, looks to use the pace. Danny Bertram back to Rogers. Rogers just holding that position just in front of the defence here, just staying inside the centre circle. Vaughan gets a deflection off Owens. It's going to be a throw-in for Telford.
That's where he needs to be, though, I think. If Telford are going to attack, then he needs to be just in front of the back four. So when they do spring their counter-attack, Vauxhall, then Carl Rogers can mop it up, because I think that's what he did so well when he was playing well and when Telford were playing well and winning games.
Still 0-0 at the Pro Star Stadium between Shrewsbury Town and Chester City as well. That's on 96 FM. Throw-in's taken. Here's Adams. Kerry Bertram on the edge of the area. Danks shoots again, and it's stopped actually by the ball boy in the end towards the corner flag. It's Hereford 1, Leeds 0 in League One, which is an interesting scoreline. Hereford picked up a good win against Cheltenham at the weekend, winning that one 3-2, but Leeds haven't been doing too well lately. So an interesting scoreline there. Still Harrogate 1, Burscough 0. And Southport still drawing against Hinckley United in the Blue Square North. Danny Bertram wins the header just in front of the defence, and it goes through to the keeper. Solihull 0, Workington 0 as well. Long trip for the Cumbrian side. Ball's back into the Telford half. Whitehead heads it towards the halfway line. Here's Adams. Rogers square. Blakeman. He's got Meredith on this left-hand side, the left back for Telford. Just goes across the halfway line. He's got Burke in front of him. Been a good battle actually between those two players. Here's Edwards. Always caught by Burke. It's a free kick. Just dragged put his foot around his ankle and made sure he wasn't going anywhere at all.
I think knew that Danny Edwards was tracking back a little bit and just gave his side a chance to get back. Nothing more than just a quick word from the referee and a free kick to Telford.
Edwards takes this one. Good height on it again. Danks swung the header just in front of Gavin Cowan. Two players didn't really communicate with each other. We've got about 2 minutes left of his first half. Vaughan takes the throw in early. Here's Rogers. Back to Vaughan. Now he'll look to run it against the defence here, Vaughan. Looks to run through the gap, but he runs into trouble. It's all the way back to Blakeman, though. He's got a bit of room here, Blakeman, just to decide what he wants to do. Plays it to the feet of Danks. Good one too. Blakeman runs through the challenge from Griffiths. Adams inside the penalty area. Kerry Bertram's there. Here's Edwards down the left-hand side. Looks to get the ball back into the danger area. Now Meredith with a shot. Appeals for handball. Adams shoots. It was going in, and it was blocked away by Liam Blakeman.
Well, goal bound. Definitely goal bound from John Adams there. It was a terrific strike, and it's really definitely beating the keeper, but it's just the way that it's going for Telford at the moment. Unfortunately, Blakeman, the guilty party, just in front of the keeper, probably in an offside position anyway, and just deflected it wide of goal. But decent spell that from Telford, and that's more of what they need to do.
Remember, you can join in the debate after the game. You can text us 07786 2000 96 gets you through to James Bond, who will be in the studio on this extra time special. Both our local teams in action tonight, both vying for promotion places. Telford want to win this Blue Square North. They'll need a win tonight to keep that dream alive. It's going to be very tough. Every point's vital. We're just about to see there's going to be, I think, 1 minute of added on time. There's a 0 and a 1 on there, so but the naught's before the 1, so let's take it as 1. It's Plymouth 0, Crystal Palace 3 in the Championship. And Burnley have gone a goal behind against Coventry. Liam Best has scored there. Telford have another throw in midway inside the Vauxhall half. They look to take it early. They want to try and get a second goal just before half-time. Ball again runs out of play. Blakeman wants to take this one. And he throws it back to Whitehead, who's not picked up at all. He's got lots of room here. Plays it to feet of Blakeman. Oh, his square pass goes past the left-hand shoulder of Danks, and Bird looks for a long ball to find Carnoon. But Karen gets there first. Now he sprays it to the right-hand side. Here's Vaughan. To the feet of Danks, midway inside the Vauxhall half. Vaughan continued his run. Looks to get a cross in. May have won a corner here. Ball's kept in. He appeals for a corner. Linesman, though, signals that it's going to be a throw-in as the ball is finally kicked out of play. A few people just getting ready for half-time. He got 30 seconds left. Here's Danks. Gets a low ball in. Blakeman can't pick it up on the edge of the area. It's cleared back into the Telford half, and Whitehead heads it behind him. And actually the referee has blown 15 seconds a bit too early, but never mind. It's going to be half-time here at the New Bucks Head. It's Telford 1, Vauxhall Motors 1 here on BBC Radio Shropshire. It's been a slower start to the second half, nearly 6 minutes gone. So a very bright start by Telford. And the goals coming after 26 minutes. Vauxhall taking the lead through Carnoon. Super finish into the top left-hand corner. Telford got the equaliser after 35 minutes. Danny Edwards' corner punched away by Coates of the near post. Fell to the feet of Danks, and he got his first goal for Telford. Here's Carnoon, though. Just inside the penalty. Gets the ball back out wide. Burt gets a deep cross in. And here's Krishnu now on the left wing. Lets the ball go under his feet. But gets it back towards Lee Owens for left back. Back in field to Bird, who's had a quieter passage of play since the start of this game. Noon tries to keep it in. Vaughan with a bit of afters on Chris Noon there, seeing a few studs left in. The referee was there in a good position, and I think we may have seen a few things which the referee didn't there.
He just turned his head, I think, the ref then, but Vaughan certainly lucky, a little bit petulant from him then. It might have been a shout for a foul had the ball stayed in the way that the Vauxhall player went through Vaughan, but that's taking, not condoning him at all. Shouldn't really be doing it, and gets away with that one.
Well, he's got some defending to do here, but Whitehead steps across with Carnoon. That's been an intriguing battle between those two. Noon just kicking it away when he knew it was going out for a throw-in. Whitehead takes it though. Here's Adams for Telford in Telford's midfield. Plays the ball down the line looking for Mark Danks. Ball's headed away. Here's Nwadiki. Vital header. Here's Blakeman now. Gets the ball across. Edwards in a bit of room towards the byline. Looks to keep it in. Does so to the near post. Can't get any power behind it though. The keeper Coates was well placed to take that one. And Blakeman just slightly overhitting that one for Edwards to get the cross in. But the idea was right. He got the placement right. Just for power behind it.
Yeah, just as you say, a little bit too much on it. Edwards is always going to be difficult when you can't take a touch on the ball to cross it in, and not enough pace to trouble the keeper in the end. But that's a good ball out to Lee Vaughan. This is what Telford need to do now: attack down the right-hand side.
It's Solihull 1, Workington 0 as well in the blue square north. Or Kerry Bertram's caught for number 4 there, Rob Marsh-Evans, and it's going to be a free kick for Vauxhall. Not too far outside the penalty area. And Kerry Bertram may have done himself a few problems here. He's just limping around, just catching probably his right knee or his ankle there, Steve.
Well, he didn't exactly sprint towards the ball. I thought, he just looked a little bit, not lazy, almost as if he was nursing an injury a little bit. But well, he looks to be in some discomfort. I just think with Telford, they have got an option on the bench in Terry Ferns, and maybe Phil Trainer as an attacking midfielder if you want to swap it around a bit. But there's no point in really exaggerating that injury, is there? Getting it worse when there's so many games coming up. You might as well just take a chance and put Ferns on there. Ferns has looked very hungry when he's come off the bench, and well, who knows, he could score the winner yet tonight.
We've had 9 minutes in this second half. Seems a bit longer than that. It's not been the best of second halves compared with what we saw in the first, but Vauxhall threatened to come forward. Low cross in, cleared by Meredith on the edge of the area. Still Telford 1, Vauxhall 1. Still Shrewsbury Town 0, Chester City 0. In our other featured game on 96 FM, but Chester have struck the post just after half-time. Here's Carl New now on the edge of the area, right for challenge. And a shot from Bird, just on the D, saved by Ryan Young. To be fair, apart from the goal, which Ryan Young had no chance of getting near, Steve, Ryan Young hasn't really had much to do in this game.
No, he hasn't, but that's always a dangerous position to be in, isn't it? When you're at home, is that Telford always have the possession, and you'd expect the opposition keeper to be working the most, but as we've seen from Vauxhall Motors, particularly in the first half, then all they've got to do is put the ball in the back of the net.
Well, a substitution is going to be made. Now, Danny Bertram thought he was going off, but it's not. It's Mark Danks who's gone off, and on comes Terry Ferns. I think Danny Bertram there, Steve, was running off thinking it was him who was going to be brought off. Now, I think they're going to make a double substitution.
Yeah, I think you probably will come off now. Just think, well, in fact, Danny Edwards is.
They're confusing everybody here.
I'm not sure if Danny Bertram is thinking, well, I'm injured, I need to go off, or whether he just thought he was going off. I don't know, a bit bizarre there. Certainly clapping the crowd, wasn't he, as if he was being subbed, but not the case. And in the end, Danny Edwards goes off, and so too Mark Danks, maybe a little bit more height in the attacking area of the field now.
Well, Mark Danks, the goal scorer, scored his first goal for Telford, has been substituted. Trainers on for Danny Edwards, Trainers on the left-hand side of midfield. Important goal at the Pro Star Stadium as well. Shrewsbury 1, Chester 0. Richard Walker has scored for Paul Simpson's side. Vital game in League 2 for Shrewsbury Town, 7th currently. And they could pick up points with the likes of Bradford and Darlington playing against each other tonight. But it's all about Telford, of course, here on DAB, digital radio and online. And Telford have made a double substitution. Ferns on then, up front for Mark Danks. Telford have a throw in here, still 1-1. Front for feet of Kerry Bertram, back to Meredith. Here's Kerry Bertram again. And back to Blakeman, who's just playing in a holding midfield role here. Nudiki this time pushes forward. Meredith comes infield and finds Blakeman. Blakeman square to Vaughan. He's got Owens in front of him. Vaughan looks to get a cross in. Struck the leg of Owens, taken by Coates at his near post. And Coates just takes his time. Just looks to throw it out early, but in the end he'll kick it forward. And Noon's underneath it, but Whitehead's got the better of him, heads it away. Here's Owens, the left back for Vauxhall. Injects it back in, headed back out by Cowan. The ball flies towards our commentary position. And Telford have another throw in here on BBC Radio Shropshire. And he's surprised, slightly surprised, Steve, with Danks going off.
Apart from the goal, I can't really see what he's done tonight. I think he's run around a lot, but I just think it needs someone more physical against his Vauxhall.
Ball in from Vaughan, ball's cleared, Nwadiki shoots, oh, it's in the post, it's Burns, he scores, the linesman's flag stays down, and Telford have got a second. Nwadiki with a thunderous shot, striking the post. There was Terry Burns on the follow-up, the Vauxhall players say it was offside, the linesman's flag stayed down, and Telford have got a second. It's Telford 2, Vauxhall Motors 1.
Well, I don't often say this, but I think, well, no, in fact, I do often say it. I think the Lions lady tonight has got that completely wrong. For me, Burns clearly offside in front of the keeper. I can't see anyone playing him onside at all, and Telford have got away with that one, but terrific strike. Deflected in the end, wasn't it, from Nwadiki? I suppose that's the only argument that it can have, the deflection, but it's still, for me, offside because Nwadiki's played it forward. And clearly, well, Ferns right in front of the keeper. I have to watch it again and see. Unfortunately, we can't do that, can we? But have to watch the highlights and make our own mind up on the BBC website.
Important goal, Steve. I tell you what, Vauxhall, to be fair, they've got themselves to blame a bit there because they look for the linesman, they look for an offside, and they stop playing. And Ferns, in the end, had a simple tap in, and really, somebody still had a chance to tackle him in there.
Yeah, I think you've got to play to the whistle, but I really did think that, well, there wasn't anyone, from what I saw of it, within 2 or 3 yards of him, and it's, you know, you're waiting for that whistle, but as you say, if you don't play to the whistle, you sometimes get punished, and I've seen goals like that against Telford, and thankfully Telford have got their own goal. And what did I tell you? Terry Ferns with the winner tonight.
Well, yeah, 14 minutes gone in this second half. Amika Nuadiki's shot, beautiful strike, lots of players in front of him, and it struck the post, and it came straight out to Terry Ferns, who controlled it and put it into the back of the net. Telford 2, Vauxhall Motors 1, Shrewsbury 1, Chester 0. Big night of football here on BBC Radio Shropshire for both our teams looking for promotion, but it's going to be a free kick for Vauxhall. Vaughan judged to have fouled Noon. It's going to be a free kick.
The initial challenge just before that is good play, actually, just by the referee there, just waiting to see if there was any advantage. It's a brilliant challenge from Vaughan, nothing given in Vauxhall's favour because of that. But Vauxhall do get a free kick. Number 7, James Holden, just over it. He'll look to whip this one in, right-footed, just level with the centre circle here, just the edge of the centre circle, and one for Telford to defend.
It's at Harrogate 2 now, Burscough 0. Southport, Liam Watson's side, still drawing against Hinckley United. That's still 0-0. Telford, of course, 4th in the Blue Square North. A win tonight would certainly help them out. Free kick, though, is taken by the number 7. Ryan Young drops it, and he had one of the Vauxhall players there. Free kick was taken by James Holden, not a bad one. Just testing Ryan Young a bit, but he was equal to the task. And now a very high kick indeed, goes over the floodlights from our line of sight. Here's Phil Traynor, got a point to prove, into the area. His shot's blocked. Back out to Meredith, who's tackled by Burt, the captain for Vauxhall. And Telford have a throw-in, level with the edge of the penalty area. And throw-in's taken to Danny Kerry-Bertram. Back to Meredith. Adams is waiting on the back post. And Terry Ferns is in there as well, but they switch play to Vaughan. Vaughan will look to shoot here, does shoot, and it stuns the keeper Coates. And Coates had to catch it on the second attempt. It was really flying, that one, but straight at the keeper, who launches it forward. Whitehead heads it away into the centre circle. And an early ball back in towards the Telford defence. Here's Noon, his shot's blocked. And a bit too ambitious, really, for the Vauxhall striker, the youngster. And Ryan Young throws it out.
Well, he's had a good game for me tonight, Lee Vaughan. You know, it's a real rasper of a shot, wasn't it? Straight at Coates, unfortunately, but Coates couldn't control it at the first time of asking. Had to almost bounce off his chest before he could get it at the second time. And well, here's Phil Traynor. Good work from the on-loan man.
His cross is slightly deflected, and the keeper Coates took it away from John Adams.
That's what Telford can't do, though. You know, can't be too cavalier. We saw against Hyde they did it and got punished, didn't they, late on? And just hearing a stat from one of our fellow pressmen tonight is that Vauxhall Motors have not lost in the league since November, believe it or not. So they're in a fine run of form. And I think you know, Telford not with it all to do certainly, but they're going to have the work cut out keeping them at bay.
Well, they've been unbeaten in their last 7, but they're trailing here, the Osmore Port side. Here's Chris Noon, tackled by Nuadiki midfield. Here's Ferns, looks to push it past Marsh Evans. But Marsh Evans has good pace at the back and managed to get it back to Coates. And straight away, Vauxhall come forward. Back inside the centre circle. Drop back to Bird, who's actually playing a bit deeper in this second half compared with what we saw in the first half. It's on Vauxhall's right-hand side, and ball's played in by Matty Burke. Telford clear it though. Bertram's beaten in the air by Griffiths, and Telford have another throw in just over the halfway line on their left-hand side. Remember, you can join in the debate after the game. Text James Bond 07786 2096 with your thoughts, your man of the match after the game. Stuart Whitehead clears this one. Again, Griffiths heads it clear. Here's Cowan, headed on by Blakeman. Vauxhall have impressed me in this game. Now they come forward again. Here's Owens, the left back. He's got Adams in front of him. Square ball in field. Here's Bird, looks to turn Nuadiki, who can't get the tackle in. Bird now to the feet of the substitute who came on, the number 15, Lee Furlong. Now a ball in by Burke, blocked at the near post by Meredith. Another ball back in. Vaughan heads it away. Here's Adams, heads in for path of Noon. Noon couldn't get the shot in. Vaughan put him off, and now Adams carries it away. It's on Telford's right-hand side. Here comes the Bucks midfielder. He's got Vaughan just behind him. And then they'll just take the sting out of it a bit, but Vaughan carries it on. Here's Danny Bertram on the edge of the area. Looks to shoot, takes a deflection off Ferns. And Coates picks it up and throws it out early. Here's Burke now on Vauxhall's right-hand side. End-to-end stuff. Noon, he's got Whitehead right in front of him. Hasn't got too much support. Burke continued his run. Linesman's flag goes up. And the referee lets the ball go through to Ryan Young. And Ryan Young will take his time here.
Well, it certainly is end-to-end. I mean, it's all too open, really, from Telford's point of view. They need the win. I think it's so important they win tonight. Doesn't matter what's going on elsewhere. I think tonight is all about getting that first win of 2009 at home, and going on from there.
Here's Danny Bertram's shot is it isn't blocked. Goes over, strikes the top of the Frank Naggington stand. Our two defenders closing him down very quickly. Ball also bounced awkwardly for Danny Bertram there, Steve.
Well, not the best of strikes today from Danny Bertram there. Well, surprising attendance. I thought there was more than that here tonight, but obviously not. 1,667 is the attendance tonight. And, well, it looks a few more here tonight, but as I say, obviously not. They know what the gate ticks over, and slightly disappointed with that.
Well, actually, for a Tuesday night game, though, it's still, compared with a lot of teams at this level, it's by far the best, isn't it?
Certainly compared to a lot of teams. I guess the concern is, will they come back when Telford start, and if Telford start playing well again? And hopefully, 3 points tonight will get a few more in the gate on Saturday. Holmes
takes his free kick, headed away. Here's Blakeman, gets a tackle in against Noon. Vaughan carries the ball away, looks for a lovely ball through. Ferns, though, goes over his head, just got a bit of a touch onto it. If the ball had been a bit lower to the feet of Terry Ferns, then it could have been an ideal position for him. Really looks up for the battle, Terry Ferns, tonight, as he has done since there's been extra competition. Danny Bertram, Mark Danks coming to the club. In fact, Terry Ferns has now scored 17 goals for Telford this season. Vauxhall have a throw-in. It's not bad, really, is it, Steve, for somebody scoring 17 goals who hasn't been playing every game?
No, absolutely. I mean, he's always been in and around the goals all his career, hasn't he? When he was at whatever club, Southport, Drawers, and you name it, he's always scored goals, and he's continued that in Telford. But unfortunately, he hasn't quite found the form consistently, really.
It's going to be a throw-in for Telford. Let's just remind you of a few scores that are taking place elsewhere around the country. Closer to home at the ProStar Stadium. Still, Shrewsbury are leading at the moment, 1-0. Here's Adams, though, looks to shoot, slices it, and it's saved by the keeper, Coates. Harrogate 2, Burscough 0, and still Southport 0, Hinckley 0. And it's Solihull 1, Workington 0. Now it's back into the Telford half. Meredith with some defending to do. Pushes Burke infield. Now through to the feet of Noon. Vaughan pulls him back. Referee may book him here. It wasn't because of that challenge, really, but because of what's happened before. Yeah, referee's had enough.
Just booked him. Accumulation. I think he's lucky not to get booked earlier than that. Certainly for the afters when the referee didn't see it. I thought there was certainly a little bit in that, and maybe a yellow card to his name, but not so. That's the first yellow card of the night, but I have to say I didn't see a lot in it, but as you say, accumulation more than anything, and more importantly, I guess, for Telford, it's another set piece to defend, and James Holden certainly fancies this one. It's 25-30 yards away from goal. It's sort of shaped up. There's a three-man wall in front of him, but he'll just look to maybe test the keeper from this distance.
Well, Holden, he's good at set pieces. There's a three-man wall, Adams, Blakeman, and also Meredith in there. He comes home, though, and a free kick. Well, Ryan Young was blocked there, but he goes behind anyway for a goal kick. And Telford can breathe again. Telford 2, Vauxhall Motors 1, midway through the second half. And Telford have that 1-goal advantage. Terry Ferns with the second. Mark Dank scored his first for the Bucks in the first half to get the equaliser after Carnoon with a super shot to give Vauxhall Motors the lead. But it's Telford who now have the lead and may need to build on it and hold on to it. Rob Smith is standing outside of the dugout, just arms folded. Isn't too happy there, just he knows how important this game is. Larry Chambers walking around impatiently, Steve.
I think it's a difficult stage of the game. What are we, 25 minutes, 24 minutes into the second half, and Telford 2-1 ahead. Do they go for the third and risk, getting the likes of Noon on the ball and into the back of the net, or do they just settle for the 2-1 and then risk them conceding the breakaway anyway? It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Well, they're still coming forward. Vaughan has a chance to get a throw in right next to the corner flag on the Bucks' right hand side. Adams comes short, but Ferns made a run to the byline and does well. Turns into Marsh Evans though. Clearance is as far as Vaughan. Rides for challenge well. Looks to get a cross in. Blocked by Marsh Evans again. And it's going to be another Telford corner on this right hand side in front of the Bucks fans. And here come the big boys. Gavin Cow and Stuart Whitehead coming forward again. The third goal here would come very nicely indeed.
Well, it would. It would be great timing, but again, this is the risk, isn't it? Telford have left 3 back against 2, and if there isn't a good ball in, goes to Coates, then there's 2 options for them.
Meredith's going to take this one. It's towards the back post. Cowan has got his arms all over Griffiths there, and nobody got the head onto it in the end anyway. Goes behind for a goal kick. It's Plymouth 1, Crystal Palace 3. Probably a bit too late there. Palace had a 3-goal lead going into half-time. Bats in the Championship. Coventry is still 1 up at Burnley as well. And it's Doncaster 1, Bristol City 0. Ball's back in towards Can, who clears it, looking for Nuadiki inside the centre circle. But it's back into the Vauxhall defence. Here's Lee Owens. Still Shrewsbury 1, Chester City 0. Richard Walker with a goal for Paul Simpson's side. Currently 7th in League 2. Lee Vaughan takes a throw into the feet of Adams. Vaughan back to Whitehead. Whitehead just wasn't quite sure what to do there and gives the ball away. Here's Tom Bird. It's inside his own half though. Nuadiki is chasing him down and making sure the only outlet he had was to go back to his keeper. Bird wasn't too happy. He didn't have support of his midfielders around him, just gesturing to a couple of his midfielders, saying they're playing too flat, too square at the top. But here they come now. Good ball into Burke on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Shoots, saved by Ryan Young at his near post. Good shot from Burke. Ryan Young had it covered though and caught it well. Noon was waiting for the ball to come out of his hands, but it didn't happen, and he throws it out.
Again, Telford, living dangerously a little bit. Bit of a lunge from Gav Cowan there, which wasn't picked up, but well, that's good play from
this may fall to Phil Traynor. Shoots, saved by Coates. Traynor again, and he scores! Telford have got their third against Vauxhall Motors. His first shot was a tame one. Coates throw, his deflection back to Traynor, then he chips it over him, and Telford have got that very, very important third goal. Telford 3, Vauxhall Motors 1.
Well, certainly is an important goal. I tell you what, Lee Vaughan has won that goal as well. He's done brilliantly, and I noticed that he's gone straight to, well, John Adams went straight to him and said, well done on that. I mean, Nadiki's gone in there, won the ball, Trainor's done the rest, but Vaughan picked up the pieces. What you've got to do, just look, incision again down the right hand side, ball goes in, and it's a good reaction from Phil Traynor, left foot and then right foot.
Well, it's a goal for Phil Traynor, but here come Vauxhall. Telford have some defending to do. Whitehead heads it out. Carnoon still causing some problems for the Bucks defenders. It's going to be a corner, but it's an evening for first goals for the Telford players. First, Mark Danks getting his first for the club in the first half, and now Phil Traynor. In comes the corner though. Live coverage here on BBC Radio Shropshire. Whitehead clears it away. Good header out. Blakeman tries to keep it in. It's going to go out for a Vauxhall throw-in. Live coverage, Nick Southland, Steve Bowyer, your AFC Telford United commentary team, either on DAB digital radio or online at bbc.co.uk/Shropshire. Throw-in comes in and headed out by Meredith, and Vauxhall have another throw-in. Ball's injected in towards the edge of the area. Noon trying to cushion it towards the run of Burke, but it was cleared by Blakeman. Here's the other Noon, Chris Noon, who's playing wide on the left-hand side, tries to bring in Lee Owens into play. Here's Adams next to the corner flag. Adams chips it up and then kicks it over his shoulder, but what looked could have been a fancy move, he gets straight out of play for a throw-in.
Well, it looked good up until he hooked it over his shoulder. Unfortunately, he ran out of turf and into the crowd it goes, but Telford with a cushion now, not too much of a cushion, and they can't afford to just sort of sit back and let Vauxhall come at them, but of course they're looking ever likely for this victory.
Well, Adams had a good second half, clears the ball again. Here's Nwadike, Trainer with a lovely weighted ball, and Terry Ferns made the run, but the ball just rolling just beyond him. Coates rolls it out. Danica Bertram drops slightly deeper. Telford 4 for the Blue Square North. It goes out of play. Telford will have a throw in midway inside their own half. Telford on 48 points, win this one. They go on to 51, and that will put them above Southport if they stay at level with Hinckley United. Southport currently third, played 2 games less than Telford. Gateshead still top with 53 points from 28 games. And Tamworth second, 26 games, 52 points. So it's getting very tight at the top. Stalybridge have been in a good run of form recently. Steve Burr's side didn't really kick on after the start of the season, but they're starting to pick up points. We've seen the likes of Alfreton and Harrogate, though, Steve, also starting to pick up points, and the gap now is closing with all those teams trying to get in the playoffs. That's
why it's so important that Telford win tonight, and win as many games at home as they can, because the away record isn't that good. I know that the home form has been pretty much diabolical in the first month of this season, of this year, should I say. But I always think when you're at the top of the league, you want to be winning your home games and then pick up the points on the road as well. But certainly home games bread and butter, and that's why it's nice to see Telford winning and winning fairly, not comfortably or convincingly, but it will give them that confidence, and they can, that can be instilled in the camp a little bit, and less of that nervous energy that we saw.
Vauxhall have made a change. Saul Atobo comes on, Lee Owens goes off, so they'll probably change their formation as well and play an extra man up top by the looks of it. Ball's inside of the centre circle. And here's Chris Noons now, this left-hand side. Atobo goes wide left. Ball comes back in field though. Here's Tom Bird, who is playing in a slightly deeper midfield position, just playing in front of the defence, as Marsh Evans looks to inject the ball into a Telford penalty area. Noon made the late run, couldn't get there, and he goes behind for a goal kick. And Telford 3, Vauxhall Motors 1. And we've had 32 minutes of his second half. So Telford, well, they should be able to see this game out, but we've seen quite a few late goals at the New Bucks Head. So Telford hopefully will hold on to what looks like a very important victory indeed. And it will break that duck really against not performing against teams who are lower down in the Blue Square North.
Yeah, I think Vauxhall are fairly unique in that they like to play football, and they've been in such a fine run of form, unbeaten in the league since November. It's going to be tough for Telford tonight, but I think they've done a lot right. Still not a perfect performance by any means, but as far as going forward and scoring the goals, I guess they've done it. It's whether they can take that on and be consistent as they have been for a large part of the season, but not recently.
Here's Trainer. He's played well since he came on, Phil Trainer, and he's picked the ball up again. Plays it square to Meredith. I think he looks like a confidence player to me, Phil Trainer. When he's really confident and he's playing at his best, I think he could be an excellent signing for Telford. But just the last couple of games, it's not easy either, is it, Steve? Because he's got to get used to the players around him. He's coming into a new environment. He's on loan from Oxford, so it's all very new. But he's playing well since he's come on.
I think it's difficult for him as well, coming down the league, playing against the likes of Workington away. You're not going to get those kind of pitches in the league above Telford are now. Certainly not as many as you get in this league. I don't think he's adapted enough away from home. We haven't really seen him too much at home, of course, because we've had all the cup games and whatever going on. But no, I think you're right. With in terms of a confidence player, he likes to get the ball, doesn't he? And you can see he's hungry for the ball, but when he's not given it, it maybe sucks a little bit and needs to do more, and that's probably why he found himself on the bench tonight.
Ferns held that up well. Kerry Bertram's pass is a poor one though. Adams had made the run. Kerry Bertram went to the ground. Looks a bit tired, Kerry Bertram. Picked up a knock earlier on though. He's probably done well to stay on the pitch. And Ryan Young rolls this out. Here's Lee Vaughan, who was suspended for the game with Gavin Cann against Workington Saturday. They've certainly made a difference coming back into this team. Here's Adams. Now here's Terry Ferns, wide on his right-hand side. Does well, gets it past Griffiths, passes it to Danny Kerry Bertram. Now it's a goal! Phil Traynor has got his second. What a simply worked goal. And Phil Traynor with a simple pass, really. He puts it into the bottom left-hand corner. There's nothing the keeper Coates could do. And Telford now got a fourth. It's Telford 4, Vauxhall Motors 1.
Well, with the league so tight as it is, I mean, who's to say that it might not even go down to goal difference on the last game of the season? And well, it's certainly Telford helping themselves with that. It's a decent work goal. Just I thought a miss hit really from Kerry Bertram, which found its way to Traynor, but still Traynor had to finish, and now of course on a hat-trick. So still a few minutes in this game, 10 minutes left in this game, and who knows, Telford could make it even more convincing, and Phil Traynor could yet get his hat-trick.
Well, got to be a word there for Terry Ferns, hasn't there? Because his positioning was great. He rode the challenge from Marsh, Evans and Griffiths, and he spotted the pass, what he needed to make. We've seen Terry Ferns playing well recently.
He's just an experienced striker, isn't he? I think, you know, and he puts himself about a bit. I think he can do, because he's that bit stronger than Mark Danks, and he's probably a little bit quicker thinking. You know, Mark Danks is very much a raw pace ball player, isn't he? Play it over the top and run into the channels type of player. But I think Ferns just needs to show the hunger week in, week out. I think if he can do that starting a game, then you know, he'll do very well.
I think it's fair to say as well, Ferns' best performances have come at home. And here's going to be a free kick for Telford.
They probably have. I think he was frustrated early on in the season, as was Liam Blakeman, and pretty much frozen out of the side because of his poor form. But a bit of competition for places, and he's been eager and willing when he comes off the bench. As I say, his chance really is, you know, when he can start a game and do as well as he has done coming off the bench.
I've been impressed with Terry Ferns. His work rate's definitely developed. I think the extra strikers coming to the club have really prompted him into thinking about his game. So free kick's taken short. Adams to Danny Kerry Bertram. Here's Vaughan again on Telford's right. Ferns again knew what was happening there. He knew that Griffiths was coming in with a sliding challenge, stepped away, knew it was going to go out for a throw-in. Very clever play.
Well, it's good play from Telford there. This is what they've got to do, just a bit of keep ball, maybe get the 5th goal and really kill Vauxhall Motors. I think it might flatter Telford a little bit, but I think Telford have done the right thing. They've got the ball in the right areas and finished Vauxhall off. And of course, they didn't do that on Saturday. They couldn't do it against Stafford, against Hyde. It's a real confidence booster tonight.
We're into the last 8 minutes of this game. Telford 4, Vauxhall Motors 1. How do you all say after the game? Text James Bond back in the studio, 07786 2000 96. Meredith takes his corner towards the back post. Cowan's there. Nuadiki goes over him. Here's Ferns. He'll try and keep this alive. Traynor shoots. It's blocked by Cowan. And couldn't really say it was going goalwards from this angle. Goes behind anyway for a goal kick for Vauxhall Motors. Still Southport 0, Hinckley 0, Harrogate 2, Burscough 0. But it's that Southport game which is the interesting one. I know Telford will be concentrating, Steve, on this game, but it's hard not to keep an eye out on Southport's score.
Well, I know Liam Watson will be texting Rob, and Rob will be texting Liam during the game. That's, you know, they are that close as managers go. But no, I think everything on the pitch is important. They do concentrate on their own game, as Phil Traynor puts in a hefty challenge. A bit lucky to get away with that one and not get booked, I have to say, but maybe the referee seeing that he scored 2 goals and will let him have the benefit of the doubt. But as I say, Traynor, you know, he's done well in this second half to come on the field. He's another one that's got to do it consistently.
Free kick's taken short. In it comes though. Vaughan clears it. Rob Smith showed me his phone, his inbox. at training last Thursday, and it was Liam Watson every time. It was like 20 texts a day.
Well, I think if he was female, I think his wife would be worried, put it that way.
Oh dear, dear, dear. Well, it's with Jonathan Egerton for right back for Vauxhall down the line. Liam Watson, of course, being linked in a few areas of the press with maybe taking on the Rushton and Diamonds job, but I'm not sure whether there's too much truth in that, really. Here's Blakeman square to Lee Vaughan. He's got lots of room in front of him. Noon eventually closes him down. Ferns flicks it on down the line for himself. Keeps it in against Marsh Evans. Keep saying it. Ferns, for me, he's come on and he's played ever so well. He's been, I wouldn't give him man of the match, but I've just been very impressed with his touch and the way he's just read the game tonight.
Yeah, again, coming off the bench, you know, I guess in a fairly confident side, in that Telford had got themselves ahead in the game. I think he came on when it was 2-1. But no, he has done well. He's run his socks off, you know, for the cause. He needs to do it more consistently.
Here's Vaughan. His shot's a save, parried away by the keeper. Linesman's flag went up anyway. And I think it was a deliberate shot. My initial reaction was that he was going to cross it, but the outside of his right boot, trying to slice it in. And a good save in the end.
I think he's gone for it there, Lee Vaughan. Yeah, I think it looked up, sent the keeper off his line. It was a decent save actually from James Coates, just palmed it away. And in the Enfield trainer, I think the judge should be offside. Probably the Vauxhall Motors management and players will feel a little bit aggrieved that the second goal went in. Of course, when Ferns looked to be offside, in fact, of course, it was Ferns that scored the second, wasn't it? So, as you say, he's done well. He's got his goal. Field trainer's got his 2 goals as well, and Telford's still coming forward.
Well, it's been a great end to the game for the Bucks. Here's Adams back to Lee Vaughan now, midway inside of the Vauxhall half. Pass goes astray, cleared. Telford have a throw in. Still Shrewsbury 1, Chester City 0 in the dying seconds, minutes of that game. Ball's back with Vaughan. Down the line to Blakeman. Looks for Ferns. Cleared though in the end by Holmes towards the centre circle. Meredith powers through, keeps the ball, and here he is. Here's Blakeman on the edge of the area, shoots himself. Oh, goal! The fans tell the story. You can hear it in the background. Liam Blakeman, calm, collected, and curls it into that top left-hand corner. Nothing Coates could do, and it's 5 of the best for Telford. Telford 5, Vauxhall Motors 1.
Well, his second goal in a matter of weeks now, isn't it? Of course, scored against Solihull away from home. His first of the season, that was. First in front of the New Bucks Head faithful here tonight, and that was terrific. Just makes you wonder why he hasn't done that more often this season. But, I remember when Rob Smith signed him, he said that, you know, on his day, well, if he had a brilliant season, he could probably score 15 goals, but 2 to his name now, and well, again, a confidence booster for him.
Well, we're near the end of this game now. We've got, by the stopwatch, 3 minutes left. It's Telford 5, Vauxhall Motors 1. Here on your #1 station for sport, BBC Radio Shropshire. With me, Nick Southland, Steve Bowyer. Text us after the game, 077 86 2000 96. Let us know your man of the match and how important to win this really is for Telford tonight. Before this game, Telford were 4th. As it stands, with Southport still drawing against Hinckley, Telford will go above them into 3rd place, but their goal difference will be good as well. They need to catch up a bit against the likes of Southport, Tamworth and Gateshead, and this will certainly do them a world of good by looking at the table, Steve.
No, it certainly will, and not just points wise, but as we mentioned before, the goal difference, you know, it is that tight at the top. There's not really a Kettering running away with it, is there? You'd like to think that Telford can put a string of wins together like they did October and November, then they could go on to win the league, but it's going to be tight, certainly.
Telford still coming forward. Ball runs out of play on that left-hand side, and it's going to be a goal kick. Just a few fans just making their way out of the New Bucks Head to try and beat the traffic here in Wellington. And the man of the match is a tie here tonight. Goal kick going to be taken by Coates. Well, no, actually, they're saying it isn't a tie now. Lee Vaughan is the man of the match.
Yeah, done well for me tonight. Got forward when he had to and got back when he's had to as well. He's terrific for Telford, and they really miss him. as we saw, it'd be interesting to look at Telford's defensive record when Lee Vaughan doesn't play. I tell you what, it wouldn't be the best, because he is that important, as is Gavin Cowan, who's had a decent game alongside Stuart Whitehead as well.
Two of the best defenders in the league, I think it's fair to say.
I think they've got to be, aren't they? I think the only thing they're lacking, I guess, is the pace, which Lee Vaughan and James Meredith can offer and can recover. As I say, that Whitehead sprints out of defence and wins the ball.
Well read.
And a bit of a nosebleed, I think, Whitehead there, as the ball goes forward in the end. Offside given against Terry Ferns, but that's brilliant play. You know, from a defender to want the ball when you're 5-1 up. He doesn't need to do it, does he, Stuart Whitehead? But crosses the white line into the half of Vauxhall Motors, and in the end, offside given.
Unsung hero, isn't he, really? And that's his job, though, isn't it? You don't really want to recognise him, but he clears every aerial ball like Cowan.
It's just expected of him. I think him and Cowan, it just is expected, and you don't look for him to have poor games. You don't necessarily look for Lee Vaughan to have a poor game by any means either, but I think Vaughan's the type of player that is more obvious to the fan as a man of the match contender, because he gets on the ball and wants it, whereas, you know, Whitehead and Cowan do the ugly job, if you like, in getting the ball away in the first place.
Here's Bird next to the halfway line. Trainer tackles him. Here's Ferns. It's 3-on-3. Now Ferns has got to pick the right option here, and he keeps the ball, but he has to go backwards. Here's Blakeman. Blakeman backheels it to Vaughan. Meredith may have been the option, but Blakeman tricked everybody. And a good pass. Here's Vaughan now. Midway inside of the Vauxhall half. Dinks it down the line. Griffiths is there, though. Didn't weigh that ball properly. Griffiths with a poor clearance. Marsh Evans finally clears it. We're into injury time here at the Newbugs Head. Telford 5, Vauxhall Motors 1. Still Shrewsbury 1, Chester City 0. And they've had their chances to win that game a bit more comfortably. But still that game's going on. Two important games here on BBC Radio Shropshire. Here come Vauxhall. It's with Chris Noon inside the centre circle. His cross is blocked by Phil Trainer. The ball bounces all the way back towards Gavin Cowan. Here's Meredith now. Cows it forward for the Bucks. And gives it away. Back out towards the halfway line. Lee Vaughan's got all the man of the match awards here tonight. Played ever so well. Here's Chris Noons again inside of his centre circle. Square pass towards Holmes on this left wing. He's got Adams in front of him. Vauxhall still coming forward, to be fair to them. Here's Bird now. Wide towards the right-hand side. Burke, who had a good first half, gets a cross in. Headers won by Whitehead. Vaughan heads it out, though. It's going to be a corner for Vauxhall in the dying seconds of this game at the Newbugs Head. Telford 5, Vauxhall Motors 1. Anybody else who've caught your eye tonight, Steve?
I think the whole team, particularly the fact that they went 1-0 behind. You know, Telford started so well in the game, had loads of possession, did nothing with it, nothing really effective, and of course went 1 behind, and you know, just the way the whole team have responded.
Bird with a shot outside the area, and he goes behind for a goal kick for Telford. Now the trick is to take this win and now take it into Saturday in the FA Trophy quarter-final, first of all against Southport, but then to use that confidence in the league and treat everybody the same and have the same desire in every game.
It is having that desire, isn't it? I think it's easy to do it at home. I think it's you know, it's strange how Telford really haven't had the form in 2009, particularly at home. I know they haven't had too many home games, but it's the first league win, or so it looks to be. I can't see Vauxhall doing anything late on in the game, but it just is. It needs to be the consistency there from every single player out there. You always get it from the Cowans, from the Whiteheads, from the Vaughans to Meredith. You know, across the back four, no problem at all. For me, I think it's the midfield and possibly 1 or 2 of the strikers. I think Andy Brown is always consistent when he's on the field, but of course he's out of it with an injury at the moment. So Telford have got their injury problems. They've got a fairly big squad, and they should be able to deal with those problems.
It's full time between Southport and Hinckley, and it's finished 0-0 in the Blue Square North. So Telford will go 3rd in the Blue Square North table this evening. Still plays continuing. We've had about over 3 minutes of injury time, and Coates clears this ball back into the Telford half. Nuadiki heads it away. The ball will run out of play for a throw-in for Vauxhall Motors. The referee must be enjoying this game so much he wants to see it continue.
Well, I'm not quite sure where it's coming from, but I suppose if Telford get another one, then you know, they won't mind. But of course, the goal difference could be ebbed away if Vauxhall do get a late goal.
Ball's out towards Tom Bird, who now carries this forward. It's at Telford 5, Vauxhall 1. Bird's shot goes wide, just skids across the ground. It doesn't cause any problems for Ryan Young. We can welcome our listeners on 96 FM. Telford 5, Vauxhall Motors 1. Phil Trainer, the new boy for Telford, has scored 2 goals since coming on as a substitute during his second half to really kill off the Ellesmere Port side. And it's going to be a goal kick here for Telford. An important win this for Telford. They'll go third in the Blue Square North with Southport drawing against Hinckley. 0-0. And the referee, Mr. Amplit, has blown the final whistle. And it's been a story of 2 of the new boys really scoring the goals for Telford, their first goals for the club. Phil Trainer, as I mentioned a few moments ago, has got 2 for Telford, and that really gave them the impetus to carry on and win this game quite comfortably. The referee is Mr. Amplit, who has been in charge of one of the Telford games earlier on this season. We're underway. Telford kicking from our right to left. It's with Meredith with a direct ball straight away, looking for Danny Bertram. Here's Adams now, turns, looks to try and get a cross in, left-footed, decent one, checks it away, ball back in by Vaughan, and a snapshot really with his left boot, and it goes past the left-hand post this time. Bertram square to Blakeman, Blakeman switches it to the right-hand side, Vaughan overlaps, now he gets himself to the byline, gets a cross in, goes across the face of the goal. Danny Bertram made a run to the near post, and Danny Edwards is on the back post, neither of them could get a touch onto it. Field carries the ball forward, looks to shoot, does shoot! Oh, he takes a deflection, I think Stuart Whitey got a foot in. Scuppered. Adams steps across though, good defending by the captain Matty Burke, and now plays in Carl Noon. It's 2 against 3. Noon turns for... oh, what a goal! He turned James Meredith, and he puts it into the top left-hand corner. And Vauxhall Motors have taken the lead. And it was all started off by Matty Burke keeping the ball in. Then he played a superb ball to find Carl Noon, and he finished it off, and a bit too easily. It's Telford 0, Vauxhall Motors 1. Bird though takes his time, puts his foot onto the ball and plays it square. It's down the line. Vauxhall look to build up play on their left-hand side, up against Vaughan. Maybe another shooting opportunity here. Shot comes in. Oh, it just goes wide. And, well, this time Lee Vaughan was probably to blame. Didn't get the tackle in early enough. Now here's Edwards on the counter-attack. He's sprinting forward. It's 3-on-3. Edwards has got Danks to his left-hand side. Danks near the near post. Gets the ball across. Cleared off the line. And it goes behind for a corner. But Telford have a corner here. Edwards will take it. This time he'll curl it in left-footed. And in it comes towards that near post. Keeper punches it away. Shot from Danks. And he scores his first goal for AFC Telford United. It fell nicely for him, but he finished it off superbly. And Telford have got an equaliser. It's Telford 1, Vauxhall Motors 1.
Well, I spent enough time in hospital this week, I tell you, that's exactly what the doctor did order. I mean, it just needed it from Telford, as far as they're concerned. They needed to get back into the goal.
So all the way back to Blakeman, though. He's got a bit of room here, Blakeman, just to decide what he wants to do. Plays it to the feet of Danks. Good 1-2. Blakeman runs through the challenge from Griffiths. Adams inside the penalty area. Kerry Bertram's there. Here's Edwards down the left-hand side. Looks to get the ball back into the danger area. Now Meredith with a shot. Appeals for handball. Adams shoots. It was going in, and it was blocked away by Liam Blakeman.
Can't really see what he's done tonight. I think he's run around a lot, but I just think it needs someone more physical against his Vauxhall.
Ball in from Vaughan, ball's cleared, Nuadiki shoots, oh, he's in the post, here's Burns, he scores, the linesman's flag stays down, and Telford have got a second. Nuadiki with a thunderous shot, striking the post. There was Terry Burns on the follow-up. The Vauxhall players say it was offside, the linesman's flag stayed down, and Telford have got a second. It's Telford 2, Vauxhall Motors 1.
Well, I don't often say this, but I think, well, no, in fact, I do often say it. Lions lady tonight has got that completely wrong for me. You know, and going on from there.
Here's Danny Bertram's shot is, well, it isn't blocked. Goes over, strikes the top of the Frank Naggington stand.
You know, living dangerously a little bit. Bit of a lunge from Gav Cowan there, which wasn't picked up, but well, that's good play from
This may fall to Phil Traynor, shoots, saved by coach Traynor again, and he scores! Telford have got their third against Vauxhall Motors. His first shot was a take one, coach throw, his deflection back to Traynor, then he chips it over him, and Telford have got that very, very important third goal. Telford 3, Vauxhall Motors 1.
Well, certainly it's an important goal. I tell you what, Lee Vaughan has won that goal as well. He's done brilliantly, and I noticed that he's...
The difference coming back into his team. Here's Adams. Now here's Terry Ferns, wide on his right-hand side. Does well, gets it past Griffiths, passes it to Danny Kerry-Bertram. Now it's a goal! Phil Traynor has got his second. What a simply worked goal. And Phil Traynor with a simple pass, really. He puts it into a bottom left-hand corner. And nothing the keeper Coates could do. And Telford now got a fourth. It's Telford 4, Vauxhall Motors 1.
Well, with the league so tight as it is, I mean, who's to say that it might not even go down to a goal difference on the last game of the
Meredith powers through, keeps the ball, and here he is. Here's Blakeman on the edge of the area, shoots himself. Oh, goal! The fans tell the story. You can hear it in the background. Liam Blakeman, calm, collected, and curls it into that top left-hand corner. Nothing Coates could do, and it's 5 of the best for Telford. Telford 5, Vauxhall Motors 1. And it's going to be a goal kick here for Telford. An important win this for Telford. They'll go third in the Blue Square North with Southport drawing against Hinckley. 0-0. And the referee, Mr. Amphlett, has blown the final whistle. And it's been a story of two of the new boys, really, scoring the goals for Telford, their first goals for the club. Phil Traynor, as I mentioned a few moments ago, has got 2 for Telford, and that really gave them the impetus to carry on and win this game quite comfortably.